Hey everyone, Ashley here. Welcome to Ashley Talks Movies, and welcome to my review of Fast X, or Fast 10, whichever you prefer. In this latest installment in the Fast saga, Dom Toretto and his family are targeted by Dante, the vengeful son of drug kingpin Hernan Reyes. Before I get into the review, if you'd like to support the channel, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Also hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos I'm posting. Time for the review. So if you've been following my channel or if you've seen my review of F9, you know that I'm not a huge fan of the Fast and Furious franchise. This is not a franchise that gets me really excited. Like, I eventually see all the movies, but I don't rush out to the theater to see them. And, you know, for me, each movie in this franchise just gets more and more ridiculous, more and more over the top with each passing film, to the point where sometimes some of it is just not enjoyable. It's just like, we're going to go bigger, but not necessarily better. Now, as for Fast X, I will say this movie is slightly better than F9. That's not saying much, but it's something. However, it still suffers from some of the same problems that the previous Fast and Furious films suffer from. You've got the messy, unfocused plot. You've got the terrible dialogue, you've got the wooden acting. And when I'm saying wooden acting, I'm mostly referring to Vin Diesel here, because his acting is just so bad in this movie. I mean, it's kind of been that way for a while, but just, it's so stiff. And then you also have the bad CGI. Fast X is the first film in what's setting up the final films in this franchise. And you can tell, like, there's so many new characters that are introduced. There's storylines that are sort of retrofitted into this movie to set up what's coming next, but also to tie it to previous films. The characters are kind of all split off, doing different things, right? Dom and his sons over here. You've got Roman and the crew over here. You've got Letty over here, and some other people show up, and there's just a lot going on, and it doesn't seem as focused as some of the earlier Fast and Furious films, especially when, you know, one of the things that I will say I have always enjoyed about the Fast and Furious films, even though they're not my favorites, is this idea of family. And I know people like to joke about Fast and Furious and family, and Dom's always referring to things as family, right? It becomes like it's like a meme or a running joke. But really, the family aspect is what's at the heart of these movies. And when you kind of stray away from that, it doesn't do the film any favors. And with Fast X, I felt like they did stray from that family as aspect quite a bit here. And you know, with the characters being so splintered off, doing their own things, you didn't really feel that cohesive nature. Now, granted, that could change as the, you know, other movies come out. But just with this one in particular, it just felt like it was missing that. So I already mentioned the acting, and I've already said what I need to say about Vin Diesel and his acting in this movie and previous movies. But we'll say, you know, everybody else that's in the movie is doing a good job with the acting. I had really no major complaints about anybody else's performances in this movie. Each of these characters that you've grown to know over the years, you know, the actors who are portraying them, they do a good job with what they're given, and I'm okay with that. When you come to watch a Fast and Furious movie, you know what to expect. And one of the things you are going to expect, and one of the things you are definitely going to get, are over-the-top, loud action sequences with explosions and car crashes and just damage for days. And you definitely get that with Fast X, a lot of it actually. And in fact, there's one action sequence for me that I felt that went far too long. And for the most part, it was fun. Like, the first half of that action sequence was actually kind of interesting and entertaining, but then it just kept going on and on. And it had some of the same problems that some of the other action sequences had in the movie, where it's just this overuse of CGI, and it's not good CGI either. And there were times where in these action sequences, so much is happening, like just cars crashing into one another, there's explosions, they're racing down streets, and helicopters are coming in and all sorts of, and it felt like I was watching a video game, like just some kind of car racing video game where cars crash into each other and things explode. Like, that's what it felt like so often in this movie. Or just like, I'm not even watching a movie anymore. I'm just watching someone play a video game. So despite the flaws in this movie, and there are plenty, I will say that Jason Momoa was a welcomed addition to this franchise. He plays this character named Dante, who is the son of a drug kingpin that appeared in a previous Fast and Furious movie. And so his character shows up, and he is doing some very interesting things with this character. He's a villain that is unlike any of the other villains in any of the Fast and Furious movies. And he's making some very interesting acting choices with this character. His character has a lot of quirks. Some people will probably like his performance. Some people might hate it because he is doing something very different with this character. I will say he does inject a lot of humor into the role and into the film. But as for me, I actually enjoyed Jason Momoa's performance. I actually enjoyed what he did with this character of Dante, mostly because I felt he brought a different kind of energy to the film. So many of the Fast and Furious movies lately, and Fast X is included in this, have felt so tired. It's like, I'm not saying they have to do anything new or revolutionize this franchise or storyline, but it just feels like running on fumes, pardon the pun. But it just feels so tired. And so then you have Jason Momoa come in, and he's doing something very different. He has, like I said, this energy that he brings to this film, to this character. And I enjoyed watching him on screen because every time he showed up, you knew you were going to get something strange or weird or funny with Dante. Now, I can appreciate that a lot of people really enjoy the Fast and Furious movies. As I said in my intro, I am not one of those people, but there are some things about each movie that I can enjoy, and there were things about Fast X that I did enjoy. That being said, there are things that I did not enjoy, and there are problems that continue on with each movie. So it's going to be interesting to see how they sort of wrap up this franchise, this saga, with the subsequent films. Last thing before I wrap up. The way this movie ended, I did not like. I did not like how they ended this movie, but I know what they're doing there, but I just didn't like how they ended it. So that's all I'm going to say. So those are my thoughts on Fast X. If you've had a chance to watch the movie and you want to share your thoughts, you can do so in the comment section below. While you're here, like this video, hit the thumbs up button, and don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this.